Dubsado workflows are a huge game changer. So today's episode is the most exciting because it's all about workflows. After you have set everything else up within Dubsado, all of your templates, your schedulers, forms, packages, payment plans, the whole lot. Workflows is the most exciting bit because this is where it really saves you time having things automated. Hello, you're listening to the Courageous Goals podcast. This podcast is for high achieving, courageous women who want growth and the know-how to scale their business online. Running a business is a journey and a process. The more we learn in action, the more we succeed. If you're a woman in business, this is the podcast for you. Be in the 5% of businesses that make it. Let's get bold and create the life we desire. I'm bringing my passion to you through advice, coaching, inspiration, and support to help you create and design the life and business you want to live. I am a Dubsado expert, CPD certified in social media platforms, and a lover of admin systems and processes. I am an accredited ICF coach, specialising in trauma and narcissism. My own coaching journey has supported my growth immensely, and I want to share those highlights with you to inspire and give you courage. Let's get intentional with our goals and make them happen. Let's get started. Hello and welcome to the Courageous Goals podcast today. Today is the final episode of the mini-series that I've been creating about Dubsado recently. So this is the 6th part of the mini-series and I'm going to talk about workflows today. For those of you that do not know what a workflow is within Dubsado, it's basically where things happen automatically without you doing anything because you've already set everything up in the background. Now, you might have heard me mention in the several episodes within the Dubsado series about how getting your scheduler in place, getting your canned emails in place, getting your packages and everything all in place so that everything has a process and that it's all streamlined. So the workflows are where everything kind of comes together and you can have things set up so that it all works together automatically in a really streamlined and processed way. You can have as many workflows as you like, so as many that you think you need within your business. You might have a certain package that you'd like to break down in 2 or 3 different workflows itself. It really depends how you want them to work within your business. I know that with my Dubsado workflows, I have those broken down into 3 different workflows, whereas my coaching programs, I tend to have those in 1 workflow, depending on what program it is. It can really work for you. It just depends how you want it to work. And you can also add in bits where the workflow is paused until you do a certain thing. So workflows can really work for you as long as you know how to use them. So the idea is to really take the repetitive things that you do and put them all in a structured process to have things automated. And that can be anything from sending contracts, questionnaires, invoices, and anything like that I mentioned before, as well as confirmation emails, reminder emails, payment reminders if people are due to pay invoices, any sessions that are coming up and you want to remind them perhaps 24 hours in advance. Here is the Zoom link once again. And you can also actually set yourself to-do things as well. So you can create a to-do that emails you or doesn't email you. You can choose that also, where potentially halfway through a workflow, you need to create something for that client before the rest of the workflow continues. So you can have that in there also. So Dubsado themselves, they are really known for workflows and how to have them sent, how they're created and send things automatically. Without, any of us lifting a finger as a business owner. So the idea is to work smarter and not harder. And this is also something that I say regularly. I don't know if you've got my time blocking tool, but I do say this all the time. The idea is we all need to work smarter and not harder in our business, because we often forget about looking after ourselves because we're so busy looking after our clients. And that's really, really something that I have stepped into more so in the last 6 months, that I've really stepped into my space and looking after me and my well-being. And I even had a scare at some point a few months ago where things were looking, just pretty scary. So it really made me have a look at my business and what I was doing day to day, and where I wanted to spend my time. So working smarter and not harder is the way forward. Dubsado can really help you do that. Have you ever sent an email where you've missed an attachment? Or have you ever got to, I don't know, say Wednesday, and you're about to have a client meeting that starts in half an hour and you forgot to send them a reminder with the Zoom link, or anything, or even send them a PDF that you were supposed to send them before the meeting? It's all done, but you haven't sent it. There's so many different things, so many different aspects of our business that we forget where we've got to do all of these little things because life is busy, whether it's, your personal life or business life. So Dubsado really help you work in a way where you can have all of these things automated within a Dubsado. And basically it's working efficiently, saving you time so that you can actually really enjoy the things that you love doing. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about how these workflows work. Obviously, they can't just happen and work all by themselves. You have to actually trigger it to start with, and you can choose where you do that. So you can have these automatically triggered in a lead capture form. If you know you're having a call with someone and it's likely that they're going to sign up with you, or that you want to send them an email or something anyway straight after, you can create this simple workflow and have that attached to a lead capture form. If not, you can also have your lead capture form created separately. You can do that, have the discovery call. Then if the client says to you, I'd like to go ahead on the call, all you've got to do is then go and action your main workflow. So this could be a coaching program, and just find the client project, action that workflow, and automatically that workflow will start to populate. It will start to do its thing all by itself because it's set up automatically. So the idea is that a workflow is actioned by a trigger of specific conditions to work at certain times, and you can use tags and statuses. You can add client reminders, you can have auto pay connected, you can have task reminders, you can use all of those templates that you've set up. So your form templates such as proposals, canned emails, you can have all of those things set up with it. In addition, I briefly mentioned client portals in last week's episode, where everything is sent to one place so they don't have to go back through their inbox and find all of these different emails that you've sent them PDFs for, or booking links or login details or anything like that. Everything can be saved within a client portal. So if you're a coach and you happen to send like resources or tools or something like that, where a client works on something between sessions, you can have those. If you create those in Canva and not within Dubsado itself, you can also add those PDFs in the form template area. And if you think that it would be good for a client to use those, automatically you could have those created in your workflow. Or in addition, it's not in your workflow, but you think it'd be good for your client to do this specific tool, you can just send them an email, send it to their client portal, then drop them a quick email to say, hi client A, I thought it'd be really good for you to use this resource, this tool. So I've attached it here, but it's also in your client portal if you'd like to access everything in one place. So the workflows really, really work well together. Now, your workflows, they all work simultaneously so that you can have them work in a certain way. So you can have them so that something happens before the previous things happen or after all the previous thing. You can have things so that they work when, say, someone has a session and the session is completed, you can then send something else after that. They all work in a really streamlined way. And this is where everything really gets exciting, because you've spent so much time setting up your Dubsado. You know, I haven't even mentioned the settings as yet. I probably will do a separate episode on this. But your settings is where you connect everything. So like your email provider, your calendar, your Zoom, your branding details, any logos you might have. You might create all of these settings initially, which is what I always recommend with the Dubsado setup. And then you can slowly work through everything else. So in your templates, you'll set up your schedulers, you'll set up your packages, your payment plans, then potentially your canned emails, as well as all of your forms. And then the very last thing you will do is your workflows. And that is the most exciting bit. Once it is all set up and created, it can hugely work for you, and you don't have to lift a finger. It depends how you set it up. Some of my workflows, there's a pause halfway through because I like to do certain things myself, or really customize an email or something like that. But the rest of it will then be automated. So again, it just really depends how you have things set up. But workflows is the most fun and efficient bit about Dubsado. You may not agree. You might just think, oh my gosh, how do I even create this workflow? What do I do with it? So if you get to that point where you've set everything up, you've set up all of your templates and whatever, and you're just like, how do I set up this workflow? How do I make this work with this? So if you need that bit of help and you really get stuck there, this is also something I offer. This is my Dubsado Lite setup program that I have on my website. So if you need a bit of help with that, then do let me know, because people do get thrown by that. But yes, Dubsado workflows is where it really starts to work and get very streamlined without you lifting a finger. Once all of these things are set up within your Dubsado, you're ready to go. I always recommend, and so do Dubsado, to test absolutely everything before you action anything on a client project, because you never know where you might have missed something or forgotten something, or perhaps just not set it up quite right and you need to adjust something. If you happen to have forgotten to write a canned email that really needs to be in, a certain area of the workflow, that's your opportunity. So test everything from start to finish. And you can always go back and delete everything. You can't delete a project without deleting an invoice. So if you've done all of that and you've tested everything, make sure you delete the invoice so that you can delete the project. And then if everything is working, perfectly, why don't you then set up your first client within Dubsado? It may not be your first client overall, but it'll be your first client within Dubsado. And have fun with it and get creative. As I've said before, I had Dubsado set up completely differently last year, and where it is now is completely different, especially as the forms have all been updated by Dubsado, so they look absolutely beautiful now. They did before, they worked really well, but there's so much more functions and elements that you can do within Dubsado directly. So if you're new to Dubsado, then that probably won't affect you now. But yes, there is just so much you can do with it. I really suggest you even open a free account, have a play with it, see if it's for you. And don't feel overwhelmed with it. If you need to get used to it, perhaps, have a look at my other episodes, listen to those and see what you think. In addition, these are all on YouTube. And as I might have mentioned before, I also have a Dubsado DIY course coming this January. So if a Dubsado setup isn't for you, a Dubsado DIY course might be for you, because you can learn whilst you're playing around with it, and it could be the way for you to set up your business. So if you are a creative business owner, if you're a service provider, perhaps a coach, a content writer, a photographer, a website designer, or anything like that, then Dubsado can really, really work for you. If you have any questions, you are welcome to contact me on my website or through social media. If you're not part of the free community over on Facebook, head over to Courageous Goals, Admin, Systems and Processes. And I also do an Ask Me Anything post on Wednesdays, but you're welcome to ask me your questions generally within the group. So please do, and I will come back to you when I can. But workflows, you might be able to tell by my voice, I get so excited about talking about Dubsado because I know the benefits of it and how it can really help you in your business. But workflows is the bit where it really does get exciting, because it does so much automatically without you lifting a finger. So it's definitely worth considering. And of course, as you may know, there are so many other all-in-one business management systems out there. There are so many different ones that you can use, and you'll find the one that really works for you. I just know that Dubsado was the one that worked for me. I've worked with a few different systems now, and I work with other systems through my clients, but I know that Dubsado is the one for me. So if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask. I'm here to help. And I hope that this mini series has really given you some insight to Dubsado and what it's all about. And if you want to look at, if you're a visual person and would like to learn a little bit more, head on over to my YouTube account, which will show you a little bit more about Dubsado there also. Thank you so much for listening to the Courageous Goals podcast. I really hope you've enjoyed today's episode and taken something of value for you. If you'd love more advice, coaching, inspiration and support, head on over to join many other courageous women in business in our free community group over on Facebook. We'd love to welcome you. You can also find free useful resources over on the website at leannebrown.com/resources. Right, that's all for this week. I look forward to sharing another episode with you next week.